Salam sejahtera to honorable judges and all the guests here. I'm Hui Wen, and here I'm going to present my research paper named The Action Research on the Chinese Character Micro-Lecture Method based on Multiple Intelligence. So for the first part, introduction. In the field of Mandarin language teaching Chinese character is always one of the greatest challenges, as Mandarin teaches. When we come to teach the Chinese character, it's always hard to teach the Chinese character due to the complicated strokes and structures. So as a Malaysian, it was found that the challenge seems to be greater when it comes to teach Chinese characters in Malaysia, because we are a multi-racial country, as the students are all having different racial and language backgrounds. So, as an educator, we should seek for a solution that eases the study burden on students, raise the study interest in learning effectiveness, such as we can provide the self-study learning material. And therefore, adopting micro-lecture is one of the smart choices. So, for this research, the literature review, let's look at the first part. Micro-lecture in teaching Chinese character. So we can separate it into development of micro-lectures and micro-lectures in TCSOL. So for the development of micro-lectures can be traced back to the 60-second course, which introduced by Professor Leroy McGrew in 1993, and the 1-minute lecture introduced by TPK, on 1995. And then gradually, it turned out to be a systematic teaching method. So micro-lecture has been a very hot topic among the researchers in the past 10 years and won the affirmation of academic experts. So many researchers and educators also implemented the research on the application of micro-lectures in Mandarin teaching, and they have obtained the positive results. So let's come to the second part. Micro-lectures in TCSOL. Compared to the research on Chinese as the first language, actually there is significantly lesser research on applying micro-lecture in teaching Chinese as foreign language, which is TCSOL, especially on Chinese character. Of course, there are some of the researchers that's telling about the principle and elements in designing Chinese characters in micro-lectures, and also teaching method in Chinese character micro-lectures, or thematic research on Chinese character with easily confused components. However, for the point of this research, only O in 2016, she highlighted the integration of design theory to create Chinese character micro-lectures. Because for what I think, design theory is very important when it comes to how do we create a micro-lectures that is effective for the students. So let's go to the second part. Literature review for multiple intelligence in teaching Chinese characters. So the concept of multiple intelligence was first proposed in 1980s by Howard Gardner. So what contained in this multiple intelligence are 8 intelligence, which are linguistic, musical, logical, mathematical, spatial, bodily, kinesthetic, intrapersonal, interpersonal, and naturalistic intelligence. So now we go to the second part, multiple intelligence in TCSOL. The researchers on applying in this theory to Chinese language teaching actually did not commence until the 21st century, and this research findings shows the positive outcomes too. However, in Malaysia, the concept has not been really widely applied in TCSOL, but some of the positive outcomes has been reported in many other education fields. So let's go on to the objective of this research. So there are 3 main objectives, which are the first one, how to design the Chinese character micro-lecture based on multiple intelligence theory. Second, How does the Chinese character microlecture based on multiple intelligence affect the teaching outcomes? And third, what are the factors affecting the application of these Chinese character microlectures based on multiple intelligence in our Mandarin class? So let's go on to see the methodology. So 2 rounds of the action research were carried out and 5 weeks per round. It's in a Malaysia International School among 7 to 9 years old 3rd grade students. So I implemented the plan, act, observe, reflect, and then replan, react, re-observe, re-reflect, and finally to get a conclusion from the action research. So here are some of the method I did before we start the research. First of all, the design of Chinese character microlectures. So the design were based on the multiple intelligence theory, and it also based on 4 major principles: concise and focus, clear themes, online video based, adapting multiple intelligence theory, and all these are based on some of the researches too. Alright, so here are the table for it. And next, B, the classroom observation. So these are the participant observation and qualitative observation. So based on this one, I've come up with an observation rubric for assessing learning objective in Chinese character microlectures. I designed these for the observation as these are all based on the framework. So besides this, I've also written down 10 teaching journals immediately after each class to record the observation and reflections that could lead to improvements. And then C, the questionnaire survey. I've given out the student feedback for Chinese character microlectures based on multiple intelligence to the students after 2 rounds of their research. And D, the participants' multiple intelligence tests. It's very important to collect the students' multiple intelligence prolificity. So that's why a set of modified multiple intelligence tests was given to the students before the research began. And then, of course, because the students were still young, so the 3rd grade class teacher also invited to complete another set of the multiple intelligence checklist for students before everything started. So here are some of the cover pictures for the microlectures that I've created for the students. Now let's go to the results and discussion. So for the first round, which took us 5 weeks to complete that, 4 lessons of Chinese characters microlectures were given to the students. So they are allowed to do the preview before the class, and an in-class learning, which I will play the video during the class lesson. And then third, they are having the link to watch it back as a revision materials. And then after the 4 lessons, I will give them the Chinese character assessment 1 on the 5th week. So there are 3 data I've collected. The first one is the record of classroom observation based on the observation that I've created just now during what I share in the methodology. So here are the tables that I've created. Here are the problems and some suggestions that I found. So next, the data 2 is the teaching journals. 4 journals were written down. It's actually 5 journals were written down every class, as the first round has 5 weeks, right? So I've written out all the teaching journals immediately, and it was proved that the microlectures actually can improve the teaching effectiveness, as a student can preview before the lesson and stay more focused during the lesson, as I will play the video during the class time. And they also can revise after the lesson. especially for those absentees. If they absent to the class, they have the opportunities to get their self-study done through online learning. And last one is the data 3, the result of Chinese character assessment 1. I've give them a test to see what they have learned, the Chinese character that they have learned. Can they remember that? What is the meaning of that? So these are the results. Of course, all these are very related to their multiple intelligence prolificity. And after the first round, we're coming into the second round. It's another 5 weeks, and it's the same routine, but I've given them the 4 improved Chinese character micro lectures based on what I already found out, the problem and the suggestion that I've improved my micro lectures. And then another Chinese character assessment 2 was given after the 4 weeks of another 4 lessons of the micro lectures again. So here are the compare result of Chinese character assessment 1 and 2, and it's obviously raising up. All the results were raised up after I improved the Chinese character micro lectures. So here are the conclusions. First, the design of Chinese character micro lectures based on multiple intelligence was proved to align more closely with the students' needs for learning Chinese characters. It raises the effectiveness of both teaching and learning Chinese characters. Second, the students' interest and the test result in learning Chinese characters was raised. So we can see the more the design of the micro lectures is related to the students' stronger intelligence, the higher the interest of the students in learning Chinese characters, which then leads to the better results in Chinese character assessment and the better effectiveness in teaching Chinese characters. And lastly, the 5 affecting factors. First, alignment between the students' learning status and the design of the Chinese character micro lectures. Next, the students' proclivity in the multiple intelligence. Next, the combinations of micro lectures, videos, and the physical in-class teaching. They should be aligned, the combinations, okay? Next, the cooperation of the students' parents. Of course, they were still young as these were designed for the children. And last, the amount of their revision times. Last but not least, from the above observations, it was proved that the Chinese character microlecture teaching method for children based on multiple intelligence brought us a new and systematic teaching method that can be customized according to the student's proclivity of specific intelligence and to raise the effectiveness of teaching Chinese characters. So the research hoped to contribute to the field of the international Chinese language teaching education by providing the conclusion of this teaching action research as a future reference. This is all the report of today. Thank you very much for your listening.